Raider Nation, good morning. It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and I'll tell you this right now. It is so good to see each and every one of y'all this morning. Victory Monday. It just simply hits different. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to be doing my Raiders Overreaction Monday after the Silver and Blacks 20-13 win against the New England Patriots. On a show like today, it is either believe it, baby, or it is an overreaction. And I get it. After a Week 1 game, there are overreactions on both sides of the coin. I just heard our Patriots guy laying out his show today, and I'll tell you this, I'm happy we got to win Week 1. Pull up tomorrow. We're going to be punishing our Patriots host live on the Raiders Report. So I don't know about y'all. I'm pretty freaking fired up that the Raiders are 1-0. It might not have been the prettiest win that we've seen out there, but good teams find a way. Sub for Raiders Dubs. I hope I am up here every single Monday with this sign right here, because when you see this, that means we ended up getting a victory, and we ended up getting a dub. Spam just one, baby, down below. Hit that subscribe button. I'm freaking on cloud 9 right now. I basically was skipping into work walking in today. Let's go to the top storylines on today's show, and to me, I'm going to really talk about basically four things, and luckily, a lot of good news today. Geno Smith is him. I said it off season. I said it, he's one of the most criminally underrated quarterbacks. I said he's got top 10 potential. Well, guess what? This is for just win babies. Believe it, baby. And Geno, he even kind of said it himself yesterday. He didn't say, I'm him, as in, I'm that effing dude. But he was like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be me, and I'm always going to have confidence in me. But what I'm really hoping that Raider fans realize is that this is a quarterback that every single week you go out there on the football field, he gives you a chance to win. He is a potential top 10 quarterback. He is somebody that every single time you're in the huddle and you need that 4th down and 1 to pick up that first down, even though your top tight end Brock Bowers left, even though it's 3rd down and 20, and a lot of people, including myself, I sat up here on this live stream and I said, I'd probably run the football here to kill out some clock. When you got a quarterback that is him, and you got a quarterback that not only your coaching staff, but Chip Kelly believes in, your entire team believes in, you have the ability on that 3rd down and 20 to throw the ball down the field, sliding catch by Dante Thornton Jr. I'm not sitting up here saying that he's him as he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I'm saying we needed a Raiders quarterback. We went out and traded for one. And he is him. He is the Raiders quarterback. Let's look at the NFL passing leaders after the first week of games. I know there's Monday Night Football tonight, which, by the way, I will be live tonight for Monday Night Football. Make sure you guys pull up. Geno was the leader of this category when I was getting ready to go to bed last night, but that Bills-Ravens game was just the craziest game I've ever seen, quite frankly. And, if you're going to compete with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, you better have a quarterback that can do it, because that game last night was absolute Madden. It was wild. Though we are going to be playing Justin Herbert next week on Monday Night Football. Let's also look at a stat that I love, because to me, I literally was saying the marriage between Chip Kelly, this offense, and Geno Smith, it's going to be the offense that a lot of people want to see. It's the ability to stretch the ball down the field. Yesterday, Geno Smith had 9 20-plus yard completions. That's bananas in terms of how good that is. Josh Allen had 7 in a game where they put up 41. Raiders had 9 in a game that they put up 20. Then there were also 3 other quarterbacks that were tied for 5. My point is, when you can push the football down the field and you're doing it at such a high level, that's what elite quarterbacks do. Also, I found this stat to just prove yet again how good Geno Smith was, because one of the biggest question marks coming into this game was, what is Geno going to look like if our offensive line can't hold up? Is Geno Smith good enough to win football games if you can't get a running game going? Well, yesterday the Raiders averaged 10.5 pass yards per attempt and rushed for less than 2.5 yards per carry. I should also mention, technically it's 2.1 when you combine Ashton Genty and Zamir White stats together. Luckily, Geno actually boosted up those yards per carry. And it's the first time the Raiders have won a game with stats like this since 1993. I was born in 1993. That's how good Geno Smith was. And this was the quote that he had after the Patriots game when they were kind of just asking him, do you believe in yourself? Are you confident in your ability? And this is what he said. I'm me. That's all I think about. I don't think about anything else. I'm me. I know who I am. I know what I can do. Mistakes happen. Things happen within the game. There was a tip pass. I made the right read. Could have made a better throw. Not going to hang my head. I'm going to keep going. I know who I am. I know what I can do on that field, so I'm never worried. And I hope when Raider fans hear Geno Smith say that, and I hope when Geno looks into the camera, looks at each and every one of y'all, his words, they mean something. They're not empty statements like Josh McDaniels. They are something that is a concrete, something you can hold, and I hope that all Raider fans now know with number 7 back there slinging the pill, we got a chance to win every single week, and that quarterback is why he's him. That's why we have a franchise quarterback. I'll also say this. 362 passing yards. Y'all that watch the show all the time know that I am a slut for a wild stat. And Geno Smith right now is on pace for a minor 6,154 passing yards. You hear that out there, Alper? Geno is on pace for 6,154 passing yards. The Patriots guys out there, troll them down below. It feels good to win. I also wanted to show y'all this because I know how proud Raider fans are of their history. I just wanted to show how good, yet again, that game was yesterday. So in the history of the Raiders, quarterback games with 350 passing yards and 70% completion percentage. Rich Gannon has the most of 350 passing yards and a 70% completion percentage. In 74 games, Gannon did it 3 times. Geno Smith, 1 for 1. Derek Carr did it once in 42 tries. Carson Palmer did it once in 24 tries. Jim Plunkett did it once, 57 tries. Daryl LaMonica did it once in 84 tries. So my point is a lot of different quarterbacks, a lot of different mixing and matching out there. So I want to know from all of y'all, will Geno Smith break Derek Carr's single-season passing yards record of 4,804 this upcoming season? I can remember the year DC did it. The defense didn't really hold up, and that was one of the reasons why they had to throw. Derek also, that year they were scorching hot. I believe they started 3-0 that upcoming season. But this is going to be the pinned comment. Y'all are about to get it with the YouTube ad break. Give me a yes. Give me a no. My answer coming up here after this YouTube ad break. It's crazy to say this, but there's a part of me that really wants to say yes. And I know this is Overreaction Monday, but when you watch that game, how is this team going to move the football this upcoming season? I think they're going to try to move the football through the air. So I know it might be a little bit far-fetched, but based on this offense, based on what I saw yesterday, and the marriage that is Geno Smith and Chip Kelly, I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to go, Geno Smith is going to break Derek Carr's single-season record for most passing yards in a season. Now I just hope that we can win a playoff game because I think I would agree. I think you would agree. Hell, I think even Derek Carr would agree. That's more important. Let's go to the next one. Coming up here on today's show, the Raiders are a playoff caliber team. I know. It's one day. We're 1-0. We're talking about the playoffs. But to me, I look at the AFC West right now, and I see the Raiders are tied for first. In fact, the only team that doesn't have a win in the AFC West is the Kansas City Chiefs, and that feels good. I got some stats, and I got some things to prove that maybe the Raiders are a playoff caliber team. Maybe they're not. Before I get into that, though, huge shout-out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. And this episode, yesterday's live show, sponsored by Prize Picks. You and I, we make decisions every day, and based on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. If you watched live yesterday, you'll know that my flex lineup ended up hitting, and I wanted to be able to show you that because Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. So my pick that didn't hit yesterday was Max Crosby, 3.5 tackles. It's all good. I was close. Luckily, though, I turned that $20 into $40 because everything else you see on screen, I ended up going the more, and that did end up hitting. If you want to roll with my lineups or your own lineups all season long, download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. So it'll be really good to be right as well if Geno Smith is him and the Raiders are a playoff caliber team, because I'm going to give this one 4 just win babies, and I'm going to say believe it, baby. I think one of the biggest reasons that you could sit up here also and say why the Raiders are a playoff caliber team, that defense played light years better than I ever thought that they would, and I don't even think the offense played all that well, and we were still able to get a win on the road. But let's look at week 1 history, because I was not the biggest fan of history in high school. Probably wasn't even the biggest fan of history growing up in general. But now, I feel like the older and older I get, you got to have a love and you got to have a respect from history. You also got to learn from it. And here's some week 1 history. In the last 33 seasons, the Raiders have missed the playoffs in all 21 seasons after a week 1 loss. Week 1 win for the Raiders, the Silver and Black have made the playoffs 6 out of 12 times. I'll take 50% over 0% any day of the week. And since it's the first game of the week, I'm also going to round up. That's why it's 4 just win babies. Let's go to the next reason here of why I think the Raiders could make the playoffs. You found a way to win a game on the road, and it was an ugly road win. You averaged 2.1 yards per carry. The guy you drafted at number 6 overall averaged 2 yards per carry. Your offensive line absolutely positively stunk. You had a bad first half turnover, if you will. Your special teams unit, I don't think, played all that well. I didn't think A.J. Cole looked nearly as good as what you needed him to be. Daniel Carlson missed a field goal, but you found a way to win. And the reason why you found that way to win, second half adjustments. I don't know how many times I said it this week. I don't know how many times I've said it from my days of covering Josh McDaniels, from my days of watching Luke Getsy offenses. But when you look at the second half defensive adjustments that the Raiders made, and the stats that I'm about to show you don't even do it justice, because essentially half of those yards were in garbage time for the second half. But in the first, the Raiders played a little bit more laid back. Patrick Graham didn't bring pressure as often. I think as a lot of us were kind of hoping that he was going to bring pressure. Raiders got to the QB here and there, 3 QB hits, 10 points, no turnovers. In the second half, Pete Carroll challenged Patrick Graham, and he said, go get him. Go get Drake May. Go get Josh McDaniels. Then 3 sacks, 6 quarterback hits. They gave up 3 points and garbage time. The yards in general, I think for most of that second half, and anybody that watched the game knew, the Raiders were in total dominance. And in a game that we were losing 10-7, for us to be able to win the second half 13-3 and essentially shut out New England for 2 quarters, we won this game because our coaching staff is good enough, smart enough to make those second half adjustments. And we did a better job than Josh McDaniels, and we did a better job than Mike Vrabel. But let's go to that final reason here. I started the show saying we walk into every single week with a quarterback like Geno Smith that gives us a shot to win. We now walk into a game every single year for the first time since I have ever done this show with a head coach and a coaching staff that gives us an opportunity to win every single game. And Antonio Pierce, I heard what you said yesterday on TV. I'm going to keep note of that as well. You keep doing your thing. We're going to keep doing our thing on this side. If you call yourself a Raider, I hope that you start acting like one. But Pete Carroll's the first NFL head coach to win their debut with 4 different teams. He did it with the Jets in 1994. He did it with the Patriots in 1997. He did it with the Seahawks in 2010. He did it with the Raiders in 2025. Pete Carroll won a national championship in college. He won a Super Bowl trophy. This guy, all he does is win, baby. And when you have somebody on your sideline that makes the game fun, that brings that compete mentality, that's 73 years old and he acts like he's 37, and he goes out there and he wins and he backs up what he says, guys are going to play for him. That's my coach. And if Pete Carroll's your coach, I want you to hit that like button, because I am super, super proud and I'm super fired up that I finally feel like we got a head coach and a quarterback that gives us a chance to win every single week. Patrick Graham deserves his flowers. Chip Kelly deserves his flowers. That whole coaching staff deserves their flowers. Well, maybe not the whole coaching staff. We'll talk about somebody here in a little bit. I got to be honest, though. I was impressed by this staff from top to bottom. Ugly, but we found a way to win. I'm going to keep saying it all week. I want you to scale this for me from 1 to 10. What is your confidence level in the Raiders coaching staff after that week 1 game? 1, you're not confident at all. 10, it's the best staff in the National Football League. My answer coming up after this YouTube ad break. I'm going to give this one an 8. And I believe that Chip Kelly is one of the best X's and O's, and you could see that in that game preparation yesterday. I still think that Patrick Graham is a very well-respected defensive-minded coach, and he kind of got ripped apart a little bit yesterday in that first half. I saw the comments. Heck, I remember somebody super chatting and was like, when are we going to fire Patrick Graham? He stinks. We also got to realize the Raiders didn't invest as much on defense as probably was what PG has wanted to be able to do. But I think what PG does is he mixes it up. He does the most with what he has, and his combination with Pete Carroll is why you got to be feeling pretty damn confident, because that defense played a lot better than what we thought. It's just a fact. One person that I'm always confident when they show up, it's my man. It's the GOAT. It's Raider Ron. He was the MVP on yesterday's show. I don't know how many times he banged, but I do remember his big old bang. He dropped a $1,020 Venmo. Unfortunately, Ron, I think it was such a big Venmo that you cut out our internet. We're going to party it up today a little bit. We're going to have some fun on the Raiders Report, no doubt about it. But it wasn't only Ron. Again, we had over 200,000 people tune in. We were the number one most watched Raiders watch party on the entire planet, and we will be the number one most watched Raiders show on the planet every single game day. I do also want to give a special shout-out, though, to our top fans. Wild One, you crazy, crazy SOB. I know I still owe you the chip, and we'll get to it at some point. Alex McGuire, you're a real one. Venthrax, shout out to you. To Common Raider, to the Soup Daddy. I mean, you guys always show up every single week, and it's exactly why my team and I, we showed up here early today. We're getting you an Overreaction Monday, Victory Monday video. I'm getting ready to go live at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Raiders Report, and then I'm going to be live tonight, Monday Night Football, on our main YouTube channel and on the Raiders Report channel. I got a 16-hour day today. Why? Because the nation always shows up. And when y'all show up, I'm going to keep showing up as well. That's commitment to excellence. Let's go to the final story here on Raiders Overreaction Monday. And if y'all don't know, you can always hit me up on social media. I'm at MitchellRenz365 on Instagram. On Twitter, I'm going to be posting a lot of videos, posting a lot of my interactions. If you want to see what I literally say during a game, it's probably sometimes a little bit outlandish on Twitter, but I'm a passionate human being. I'm a passionate human being. One reason, though, why you should definitely watch our live shows. Yesterday, I got a message, and I said yesterday on live, you can go back, you can check it, that Brock Bowers is okay. I was told yesterday that he wanted to try to go back into the game, that because of the field conditions, because of the game where the Raiders thought that they had this one locked up, they had a lot of confidence in Michael Mayer. They didn't want to overdo it with their star young tight end. But based on the information that I was given yesterday, and you can go check out the live video, I am under the impression that Brock Bowers is going to be okay, and he's going to be able to go out there Monday Night Football against the Los Angeles Chargers. If we get any more updates, if we get any more, concrete information, maybe Schefter or Rappaport, one of those guys ends up putting something out there a little bit more. But from what I was told, Brock Bowers is okay, which is very, very good news. Let's go to the final story here on Raiders Overreaction Monday. Pete Carroll needs to spank his kid. And some of you are like, what are you talking about, Mitch? Brennan Carroll, the Raiders offensive line coach. This might shock you. It's Pete's kid, and he needs a spanking. I need 4 big old spankings there for Brennan, because our offensive line, it's so frustrating, because one of the biggest concerns that Raider fans had when you drafted Ashton Jeanty at number 6 overall was, it doesn't make any sense to draft a running back at 6 overall if you don't have an offensive line that can block for him. Now, I don't know who's doing the grades over at PFF. I looked at them this morning. I'm guessing that Brennan Carroll's paying somebody at PFF because of how good the rushing grades are. But anybody that has eyeballs, anybody that has an ounce of a brain that watched that game, there's no way that you can sit there and go, the Raiders' offensive line had a good game in terms of run blocking. Thought they did okay in pass blocking. It was predicated on being able to stretch the field. Geno had to hold on to the ball here and there. But for PFF to grade the Raiders' offensive line the way they did, I don't know how they do their grades. There's sometimes I try to ride with them. There's other times I don't understand it. But Jeanty had nowhere to go. The craziest part about this is his first 3 carries, he had 22 yards. His final 16 carries, 16 yards. And you still found a way to win that game. So I don't know if we got to put JPJ at center. I don't know if we just need more continuity on that offensive line in general. But the number one thing holding us back after week 1 is the offensive line, because good teams will stack the box. Good teams will try to take that running game away. And what you could really don't want is if teams go, all right, we're going to just back away and make you beat us with the run. I don't know if we're good enough to do it every single time. So I don't know if it's a JPJ, Dylan Parham, Jordan Meredith thing, but our interior offensive line yesterday got absolutely worked, and it can't happen anymore. So before I hop on out of here, again, Victory Monday, dude. It feels so good. Geno Smith is a great quarterback, and I'm happy he's here. I'm happy he's with us. I think he's him. Pete Carroll makes this team a playoff caliber team, and our coaching staff from top to bottom with this defense. Stats prove it as well. The only thing that scares me, though, our offensive line. So, Pete, if you need a spanking, from what I understand, my wife recommends a chancla.